Oh, look at antique payphone. I bet that's a historic landmark here in Fayetteville, West Virginia. There's United Bank. Nice walking tour of Fayetteville, West Virginia. Like that building there ahead, the old stone buildings. Probably the oldest operating bank still in existence in Fayette County. Also, Fayetteville is the county seat for my home county of Fayette County. It's thought to be interesting to point that out. I think this bank was first built in the late 1800s. They didn't have a drive-thru like I do now because people didn't have cars back then. Although you could have a horse and buggy drive-thru, I guess. But people just walked into banks. Of course, they could still walk into the bank and do your business, or you could drive through either way. But Ben Franklin's, that's a picture of the same building Ben Franklin's in. This photo was taken during the 1947 American Legion's Parade, which is very interesting because the soldiers in that photo most likely fought in World War II. Here's a little brief history. Fayetteville is located on a high plateau near the geographical center of Fayette County. Much of its history of the county has been centered around the town because its location and role in government. Originally named Vanetta, the town received its name from early settlers Abraham Vanetta. It was not officially known as Fayetteville until sometime between 1831 and 1837. The early settlers came to the area sometime between 1818 and 1825 and acquired the property from a man named Reed. The first official record of mention of the town of Fayetteville was not until 1837 when Francis Tyree laid out a plan for the town of Fayetteville for Edward D. Vandal. A Vandal. V-A-N-D-A-L. How have you announced that? Like to point that out. Fayetteville became the county seat for Fayette County. Of course, back then, when it was officially made the county seat, this was still part of Virginia because it's before the Civil War and it's after the Civil War during the Civil War when Virginia couldn't get along, the eastern half of Virginia and the western half of Virginia. So it became, the part I live in became West Virginia, but until the 1860s it was known as Virginia. And that's the courthouse, built in 1885. The original courthouse was destroyed by fire when it burnt down. And then the new courthouse was built in 1885, which actually survived the fire in the early 1900s that destroyed the whole entire city of Fayetteville, which I thought was interesting. That's an interesting history. So many small towns and cities all over southern West Virginia, well, all over the country, had wooden buildings and wooden sidewalks back in the day. So news to say, a building caught on fire displays the whole town. Oh, there's a picture. You can see the corner of the courthouse. Oh, this is inside that store, Wild White Water Outdoors. I may come back before I take off on my Appalachian Trail trip and buy one of those hammocks. But back out around the courthouse. It's interesting that in the early 1900s, so many towns and cities were destroyed by fire because you had wooden buildings and wooden sidewalks. Now you got brick buildings and stone buildings. Come think of it, even Mount Hope here is destroyed. It was interesting though. Also, that building used to be a Ford dealership during the 1930s from what the owner of the store was telling me. And that's the Fayetteville courthouse again. That's interesting. Not sure what street this is. I know it's Fayetteville. I forget what street. But that's an interesting area. Walking back, this is the angle that picture was taken during the 1947 American Legion's Parade, was taken from this angle. A lot of yellow paint there that's broken up. But Fayetteville is a nice little town. And that's the oldest operating bank in Fayette County. And here I walk past the Secret Sandwich Society, which is open again, by the way. I'm not sure when they open back up, but the owner building burnt down, and I'm glad they opened back up. And I like this nice picnic area. You can buy a meal there and sit down here and eat if you want to. Thought that's interesting. I just know you can't. No, you go in there, you cannot get the top secret sandwich, top secret family sandwich recipes. The top secret. That's why it's called the Secret Sandwich Society. I don't know. I just made that up as a joke. I had to ask y'all one day, if I go there to eat one day, I'd like to ask him how he got the name. Came up with the name. That'd be kind of interesting to know how he came up with that name. It's actually a really cool name. In fact, there's a lot of little restaurants here in Fayetteville that's nice. A lot of history. Of course, now Fayetteville is known for its role in the New River Gorge, because New River Gorge being the newest national park. Of course, the rafting events has kept Fayetteville going way before the New River Gorge was established as America's newest national park. I need to do a separate video there. I talked about the battle during the Civil War. Apparently the battle started here, and the soldiers, the Confederate and Union armies went down, ended up in Gully Bridge, and one side burnt the bridge for the other side across the river at Gully Bridge in the 1860s. Ironically, the bridge pillars are still there after all these years. The stone bridge pillars. And here's the town well. Most towns and cities probably had a town well where you had to come and get water. It's plugged up and full of rocks now. But it's interesting because you go to a lot of towns and cities, you don't even know where the town well used to be because it's not been saved and preserved. Here in Fayetteville, they were saved it as a historical landmark, and you can still go see it. Of course, nobody's allowed down in it because they keep it gated off. Thought that's interesting. There's that little miniature library, by the way. I think it's cool how you can get these little boxes, get a book, take it home, read it, and bring it back. And you can also leave your own books here, which is interesting. You don't see that very often, because most of the time you have to go in a building for a library. You have to go in a building, and you have to get a library card to use the library. Of course, library cards are free, so it don't cost a thing to get a library card to borrow books and movies from the library. I just think it's cool how they have that little box there where you can do the same thing, but you don't have to have a library card. You just go get one, get the books. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please like and subscribe to Waldo's Trains here on YouTube. The Morris Harvey House.